So I request all of you to bear with me for making a speech on a difficult subject in a difficult language. We are all not ordinary members of Indian nation. We are all very chosen people. We have come here on a mission. We are part of a very large national mission. And the kind of work which the Swadeshi Jagran Manch is doing is capable of being done only by an organization like Swadeshi Jagran Manch. It cannot be done by a political party. It cannot be done by even social organizations. It cannot be done by even a government. So in that sense, we have a mission and we are part of that mission. Here the most critical aspect of anyone who undertakes a mission is to understand the true nature of the work. And it is not an ordinary understanding which is needed to understand the economic issues in India. We have to understand some economics. We have to understand some politics. We have to understand about the Indian society. And we have to understand something about global politics. So it is a culmination of different disciplines. Different areas of knowledge converges into our mission. That is why I said the subject is difficult. We need people who can understand this subject and articulate it. Take this message to the people in their respective languages. So this is where I am falling short here. I am not able to present this subject in any language other than Tamil or English. And here I have to do this in English. Now, it is more than a decade since we started this great work. It was started in the context of a certain situation which arose in 1991. All of us know that suddenly the Indian economy was opened and the dictates of IMF, World Bank and the Western countries forced India into a U-turn. We have been proceeding in a certain way from 1950. It is not that that way was correct. The socialist way was not the correct way for India. But still we were proceeding in a particular way. But once socialism collapsed at the global level in 1990-91, we were made to take a U-turn. You can understand if you are going in a motorcycle and if you have to take a sudden U-turn, how risky it is. A U-turn will have to be a very big U-turn. The world is round. But when you travel along the road, you don't see the world is round. You always see it is straight. So even a U-turn will have to be so made that at every point it looks straight. That means you need time to adjust. But without any kind of time which the Indian economy needed, we were made to immediately shift from one method to the other, and globalization came in immediately in 1991. And the Swadeshi Jagran Manch was born to avert the danger to which this country was exposed. And so we had to respond to whatever the government was saying, the newspapers were saying, the economists were saying, IMF and World Bank were doing. But there was also a tremendous amount of advantage which resulted because of the challenge we were made to face. For the first time, many of us began studying what is happening at the global level. What is happening in America, what is happening in Europe, what is happening in Japan. How different countries are facing this situation. We began studying them. And we began studying about India. What is the real strength of India? What is the difference between the Indian situation and the situation in Western countries? We began studying them. We began studying where our policy makers are doing the right thing or the wrong thing. We began studying the government closely. We began studying the opinion makers, the media, the economists. So, in this entire process, our knowledge base began to increase. In fact, today we can say with some amount of confidence that if there is any one organization which has an overview of not only economic issues but also the geopolitics which is driving economics, it is the Swadeshi Jagran. There are many people who are keen observers of this. I am going to share with you today what is my study. My study not in a very limited sense that it is done by me. I am part of a large group of people who are doing this study. There are many research institutions like the Center for Policy Studies in Madras, of whom I am the beneficiary. In fact, I can say I am the spokesman of the team which has made this study. Now, we have been talking about Swadeshi. Some of us understand Swadeshi in very simple terms. That this is goods made in India. These are goods made outside India or by multinationals in India. You must use the Indian goods. That shows the Swadeshi spirit. Not using multinational goods or foreign goods shows the Swadeshi spirit. But this does not exhaust Swadeshi. This is the beginning, this is the opening, this is the key, this is the first step. That if all goods which are available abroad are made in India, that is not Swadeshi. Swadeshi has a much more deeper, more critical, more comprehensive, more subtle meaning. It just doesn't touch upon only goods or money or just economics. It envelops a very large aspect of life. Not only human life, but life on earth. It's a very vast concept. But I am not going to diffuse the whole presentation into environmental attitudes or ecological attitudes, how the development is unsustainable. I will not go into these areas. I will present the whole thing from purely economic perspective. Now all of us are made to believe, many of our intellectuals, opinion makers, policy makers, political parties, bureaucrats, all of us have made us feel that development means you have to look at the Western countries. That is development. You have to look at America. You have to look at Europe. There is no other visible symbol of development. That is the illustration. And there is no other way for development. This is almost the opinion making in India. Barring a few exceptions here and there, it is the Western model, Western ideas, Western institutions, Western policies that makes the Indian debate, that completes the Indian agenda today. And here, if there is any group which can shake this and which is shaking this basic assumption, that is the Swadeshi movement. It is now virtually conceded. And it is now conceded to this extent that if the Indian company share values go up in the stock market, the Swadeshi companies are gaining. That is the extent of awareness which the Swadeshi Jagran Manch has created. That anything that furthers the interest of this country, the strength of this country, the potentiality of this country, that is Swadeshi. So we have established that we are the alternative pole of thought. We present the alternative thought.